this province. And if someone wants to explain who the Alberta Party is, that would be great too. Or I can do it. Yeah, essentially they're a party that was created shortly after the Nenshi campaign. Anyone can correct me if I have information that's wrong. Mostly they were started from people who ran Nenshi's campaign. Vincent is looking at not so much.
It was traditionally two different parties joined together. This chap I knew of, Sheen, very capable man, very smart.
Now chief of staff for Nenshi, yeah.
Nenshi was actually deeply involved with that movement much before the mayoral race.
Okay.
And his work of 30, 40 other people.
We worked with about 30, 40 other people that eventually coalesced, and it was actually really interesting watching their movements and just how they formed the Alberta Party. But essentially, yeah, there's a cohort that helped out with the Nenshi election, but there's a whole bunch of other things. A lot of people that really like the populist slash professionalization of politicians in the lead up to the election. And to actually have a party that would have a professional, good, well-branded campaign that they'd be proud to be a part of, that A, would listen to them, and B, that support a positive point of view in government. So.
And then they ran in the last election.
And they ran in the last election.
Yeah. If anyone wants to comment on sort of that would be great.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the Alberta Party's, what's going to become of them right now. It's, I mean, Dave Taylor is no longer with them, so they have no representative, so it's going to be tough for them to get much media coverage. I don't think their leader, I think he's stepping down, I think. I can't recall there, I'm not sure if he's going to stick around, but I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, it's very difficult to start a political party anywhere, but I mean, I have just as many questions about the viability of the Liberal Party. And I think that's, I'm not sure, I mean, David can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I don't see David or Laurie Blakeman running in the next election. I don't know enough about Darshan King, but I mean, he's beatable. I mean, he almost lost before. I think Kent Hare could, I don't know, he's an unknown quantity, I think. And same with Raj. I mean, Raj has got a medical background he can fall back on. So I'm not sure what the Liberal Party is going to be. I'm more concerned about what's going to happen with the Liberal Party than what's going to happen with the Alberta Party. I think, and I don't know, maybe David could talk a little about his concerns about the party he's in right now and its fortunes.
Yeah, I think this was a real serious impact, this last election for the Liberal Party. We've lost a lot of support, financial, membership support that showed in the easy flight, I guess I would call it, the flight to the Conservative Party, a party that really should be taken down. And the question I'm asking again, as I did 3 years ago when I saw this coming, is how can we mobilize and unite the forces in the center and the center-left? Alison Redford has taken over a good part of the what many call the center. She's kind of a Lougheed Tory, as I would see her. And she's a thoughtful person. She uses evidence to bring about policy. She doesn't like the shooting from the hip, and it's clear that she wants to hold more of her own party accountable when they step out of line. She's unpredictable in that way, and she comes out with some very weird policies like these family care centers, which are just coming out of the blue and going to erode some of the primary care services in this province. But quite apart from that, she's a sensible, thoughtful, mature, respected person. So that leaves very little space in the center and the center-left. I think we really do need to have serious conversations with the Greens, with the Alberta Party, the remnant of the Alberta Party, and they're still very keen. They're young people, they're good on the social networks, they're still keen on seeing more progressive policies in Alberta, and we need to find a way to work together and unite our forces or we're going to be forcing Albertans to again make a choice between a tired, corrupt, incompetent government and an even more radical right-wing Republican-style government, and that's not going to be acceptable.
I see there are a couple comments, so we're just going to run the mic to you. This is Tessa, you can call her if you want.
Hello, my name is Julie Walker. What I sort of see is on the center or center-left, I think that the way I describe it is liberal-minded, socially minded people are busy enjoying our rights and freedoms. On the right wing, people are very organized, structured, and contained within boxes. And so from that perspective, David, yes, we need to get together and break down. I mean, we've got 3 parties on one side to vote for, and there's always one on the other side. Well, it's pretty easy to see, why one side wins over the other. And this idea of breaking down barriers is really, really important. And I think it's a town hall like this, more interaction and communication, passing the mic around more, meeting in circles. I think breaking paradigms means breaking structures, means building politics in community ways, means people like you and I that are here are obviously the politically engaged. And if you're like me, I don't always have, the courage or the sense of self to think I can go talk to my neighbors or that I can talk to people. And I think we need to do that. We need to break down the barriers in our minds, the barriers in our communities, the barriers in our sense of self, and get involved talking to our parents, talking to our kids, talking to our neighbors about politics and finding out what people's ideas are. And that thing about the list where in the end of the day, yes, we're all liberal, but we're voting conservative, is talking to people about what do we value, what do we like about our society, what are the freedoms we're involved in. Because I think it's too easy to engage in a defensive discussion with people when we're trying to make a right-wrong. We've got to get out of the right-wrong polarities and finding our common ground.
My name's Roxanne, and I just kind of want to add to what Julie said. I'm actually a former campaign manager for the Green Party. I did that for 3 elections, not most recently, but in a few years past. And my whole objective was, at that time in the early 2000s, is to get out into the community and find out what the people there want and what's important to them. And to work in between elections. I think that was a very good point raised. I can't remember who raised it about, where are these people? They just kind of show up after the writ was dropped. And I think that there's lots of things in our communities that we could be engaging in to keep visible. One of the things I liked about the Alberta Party, I did spend some time contemplating them and even considered voting for them, but I have a wild rose in LA now. But what I liked about it is that they did this thing called the Big Listen. And too often I think we're so busy being talked at, and nobody really takes the time to really listen and ask questions and inquire. We just came from the Stephen Harper event tonight, at Gwen Landing. And I didn't go and stand in the crowd of the people banging their pots and pans. I went out into the crowd further out. Well, there was no crowd really, but the people that were walking around who were curious. And I just started to engage them in a conversation. And because they were curious, I let them lead that conversation. And then I was able to fill in the information, the questions that they were asking, and then engage them in a conversation that maybe opened up their mind to some other thoughts that they wouldn't have had otherwise, walking out of McDonald's. So I really think maybe we just need to change the approach more and get curious. Who are these people that we want to vote for us, and what's important to them, and how can we really engage them in the process? Thank you.
Does anyone on the panel have any comments to that? No?
Right on. Right on.
Great. Before we take more questions, I'm going to let everyone have a break and a bit of a breather and some water for 10, 15 minutes, and then we can come back to questions and open it to the floor and start the discussion.
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah, 5-minute break. I think Trevor wants some water. I know I want some water.